Well, I just had to fire it up. So once I get it fired up, I can shut all those things down. And then that should be a problem from there. So thank you, Jeff, for generating all that positive energy for us for the evening. You got Rose laughing. Dr. Roberts, how do you say it? Palika?
Piccola.
Piccola. Okay, there we go. Piccola, like Ricola. We can't hear you right now, Dr. Piccola.
You got yourself on mute.
I'm doing all of the hollering out here. I'm walking. I'm getting my final walk in for today. And I'm saying, it's Piccola. People mess it up bad enough. Don't go a whole different way with it. It's Pekola. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just gotta remember Ricola. And once I get Ricola in my mind, I'll get it.
Thank you so much for
it's gonna be okay.
It's good being out here.
Glad you're able to join us.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Rob Martin, how are you, my friend?
Jonathan Jones, I am doing fantastic, brother. I am doing fantastic. I am loving the product.
That's good. That's good.
Kid you not.
Well, we're going to want to, as soon as we do a little piece of this presentation from this past Sunday, we need to hear your story. So we're going to be looking forward to that right at the tail end. So you'll be first up, okay?
Okay.
All right. Jeffrey Jones has joined us. He's driving along. So we need you to keep your eyes on the road, Jeffrey, please. Because microdaily is good, but it won't bring you back from the grave. So,
Look at that smile.
Your mic is muted.
No, don't tell him anything. He got to try to unmute it. Nope, just shut up. Just keep your eyes on the road.
Oh, look at that.
I love the last name, Jonathan. I love the last name.
That's right.
Hey, and I love the first name. I love the first name.
There you go, Jeffrey. Yeah.
It's like you think he was coming in here and wanted extra attention.
Planned it that way. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. And we got Teresa Lint that has joined us. Welcome. Nice to have you with us, Teresa. Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It could be Theresa, but looks like Teresa to me. So is that correct? Is it Theresa or Teresa?
Teresa is correct.
Oh, it's Teresa. Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. I'm sorry. Teresa is correct.
Well, very good. Welcome. Nice to have you with us. Okay. Manya's iPhone is with us. Marilyn, Corey Salcedo. Okay. And Maria and Sita. Anybody that wants to introduce themselves, just go ahead and unmute and tell us your name and who invited you, please. Oh, there's Corey Sita. Unmute yourself, please, Corey.
Touch your screen and hit the unmute.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Corey. Because we can't hear you. We see your lips moving, but we can't hear you.
Touch the screen. There we go. There we go.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Now we.
Okay. Good evening to every one of you.
Welcome. So nice to have you with us. How do you pronounce your last name?
Salcedo.
Salcedo. Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Salcedo. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now, if anyone else would like to introduce themselves, go ahead, unmute and just say your name and who invited you. Forgot to ask you, Corey. Who invited you, Corey?
Sister Rose White.
Rose White. Okay. Very good. She's a busy one. She really cares about you.
Definitely, yes.
All right. Wonderful. Okay. Well, listen, we don't want to take up too much of your time, folks. And we applaud you for peeling off some more time toward the end of your day. If you accepted this invitation today, you were either at the presentation this past Sunday or someone encouraged you to come to hear this presentation this evening. And we want to make it worth your while. We believe that this past Sunday's interview of Dr. Prasad was just that important. This is the first time that I've ever done a back-to-back live representation of a previous presentation. Normally I just say, here's the link, go replay it for yourself and let me know if you have any questions. Not with this one. I called up Jeff and I talked, or he may have called me. We have to make sure there's a good meeting on Tuesday night And it was no better meeting than the one we just had this past Sunday. So we're going to do a portion of that again for you. We're not going to play the entire discussion. We will send a link to it in the chat so that you can, if you want to hear the entire presentation, you'll be able to get it. But we're going to give you the high points of it and answer any questions that you have after the discussion. My name is Jonathan Jones. So it's my privilege to be your host and moderator, and Jeff Ashby is my co-host, and Alfreda Strong serves as co-host as well. Jeff introduced me to the company Engage Global, Micro Daily, the product. It was called MMF at the time. That goes back to, what year was that, Jeff? Do you remember? Because I struggled to remember.
2015.
It was 15. Okay, so yeah, I was right then, about 7 years ago. And I very arrogantly said, Jeff, that I don't have time for this kind of thing. And I got just 20 minutes. I didn't want to hear about another vitamin or anything else. And I was completely blown away, folks. I was completely blown away. And it wasn't so much the overall presentation, but when I saw that it had a patent for the treatment of diabetes, I was done. I swallowed the whole bait, hook, line, and sinker. I was done because that was it. Turns out it does a whole lot more than that. The discussion we had this past weekend was about COVID brain. It's all about COVID brain. So we're going down that lane. We're going down that road to discuss if there's something, is COVID brain a real issue? Is it a problem? We'll establish that first. Then we're going to determine, does MicroDaily, any micronutrients, have an impact on it? Can we actually recover or remove, lift the veil, as it were, on COVID brain? Now, as far as the disclaimer is concerned, keep in mind, folks, that the FDA has not evaluated any of our comments. Nothing that you hear this evening is intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary healthcare physician. We're not making any medical claims. We do not believe that any nutritional supplement has medicinal value, at least the value to cure or treat any disease. And only the government can declare something to be a treatment or cure for disease state. So that's not what we're saying at all. This presentation is for information and educational purposes only. And if you were here at the very beginning, you'll see that there was some entertainment value as well, thanks to Jeff Ashby. So we'll actually bring some comic relief and some fun to our presentations as well, if you're looking for that. But please don't do anything that I say just because I say it. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. We strongly, strongly, strongly recommend it. When you hear testimonials, remember that testimonials are anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Results are typical. Now, having said that, listen carefully to this 5-minute discussion by a doctor. She's a neurologist, but her focus is on chemobrain, where she really breaks down and graphically illustrates what's going on with this phenomena referred to as COVID brain. Jeff, please cue the tape.
You bet. There we go.
Inflammation in the brain can cause dysregulation of a number of different cell types and have lasting consequences to cognitive function. Understanding that, when the pandemic struck and we saw how profoundly immunogenic, how profoundly inflammatory, even relatively mild cases of COVID could be, I really worried about a neurological health crisis. And I think we're watching that unfold right now. The rates of persistent cognitive symptoms in people who have recovered from COVID is frankly alarming. We need to understand how to intervene and offer effective therapy, or there are going to be just millions of people suffering with these persistent cognitive symptoms. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a virologist. I'm a neurologist, but I am alarmed by the neurological possible consequences of this pandemic and alarmed by the neurological disease that's already evident in many, many, many survivors of COVID. Even from early in the pandemic, it was very clear to neurologists that COVID infection results in a remarkably high rate of persistent neurological symptoms, including quite a high rate of persistent cognitive symptoms that includes things like difficulty paying attention, difficulty with the speed of information processing, difficulty with concentration and memory. And that is something that we should all be paying a lot of attention to. That is really, really concerning. It's debilitating. People are just not returning to their previous level of function. And that's a major problem with 265 million people worldwide infected with COVID, and some estimates of as many as 1 in 4 people, at least prior to the time of vaccination, experiencing these cognitive symptoms. This is a neurological health crisis. I'm a neuro-oncologist, and one of my clinical specialties is to take care of people following cancer therapy who have persistent brain fog, cognitive impairment as a result of their cancer and its therapy. And this so-called chemo brain or chemo fog is very similar to what people are describing after COVID. And so this so-called COVID fog shares almost the identical symptoms. And what we're finding in the laboratory is that the two types of brain fog also share a lot of the very same cellular changes that we think are underpinning this sort of fogginess. We know that with severe COVID infection that many things can go wrong, that severe disease is associated with blood clots that can cause stroke, with even direct infection of the brain, and with the consequences of multi-organ disease and damage. But even after mild COVID, people were reporting persistent cognitive trouble. And I wondered whether the inflammatory response just to the respiratory infection might be enough to trigger neuroinflammation, inflammation in the brain, and consequently dysregulate these cells that are so important to keep in balance for healthy cognitive function. What we discovered in the laboratory in mice that have relatively mild respiratory COVID, and then in human samples, COVID elicits such a profound inflammatory response in the brain. And as a result of that, brain cells that need to work together in order to communicate and function normally were dysregulated. In severe cases of COVID, there can be direct infection of the brain, but in many cases, there's no evidence of virus in the brain. What's happening to affect the brain instead is a consequence of the immune response to the virus. And what we studied was how the immune response to infection that was limited to the respiratory system could cause inflammation in the brain through signaling molecules that go from the lung through the blood and to the brain. We found pretty high levels of inflammatory molecules called cytokines and chemokines in the central nervous system just from mild respiratory infection. And together with that, we saw inflammation in a particular kind of brain immune cell, which is called a microglia. When microglia and astrocytes become reactive, they then can cause dysregulation of another kind of glial cell that form the insulation around axons, quite literally like the insulation on a wire. When that happens, the neurons, the communicating cells in the brain, can't communicate with each other in their normal way, not as quickly and not as well. And so that can cause dysregulation of the whole circuit and cause cognitive impairment. This pathophysiology is particularly prominent in COVID.
There it is, Jonathan. I'm watching it again here. We just saw it on Sunday night. I mean, my first chance through it was Sunday night when you sent it over to me to play, and it's just like I was riveted. Yeah. What was significant, though, is Dr. Prasad was watching it along with us, first time he'd ever seen it, and he says, "Yeah, I know the research. It's like 6 months old research. There's been some changes since then." And he says, the worst thing about it is they didn't tell us that there was anything we could do. They just threw this out there with all the scary music and with all of the graphics on the screen, and it's like, okay, well, what's their answer? No, all they've done is just postulated this theory, thrown it out there, and said, hey, you know what? Those of you who have been through cancer and you got chemo brain, well, get prepared because you're going to have the same thing after COVID. And I'm going back through it a second time and going, wow. So, yeah, exactly.
The part that really just set me on my heels, Jeff, was just the description of what's happening with the axon. Now, you don't have to be a brain surgeon or a neuroscientist to know that that part of your neuron is important. Any part of your neuron is important, but the axon, that's what connects to other neurons and causes communication. If there's no communication or slow or poor communication across that part of the brain, that's your memory, that's your cognitive function. I mean, look what happens when my computer starts to get bogged down because it's doing too much work. It just starts to stutter. Imagine that happening inside your brain. That's what we're seeing right there. That's what's being described. I'm going to play a little clip of what Dr. Prasad said. It's going to be maybe 5 minutes or 10-minute portion of it, just to, well, you'll hear it. You'll hear it because it's almost exactly what Jeff was just describing, because that was, for us, the most crucial portion of the entire discussion. It was really amazing to see it. I'm going to turn my video off also because it'll help with the bandwidth issues. Yes, but I wanted to ask you, based on what we just saw in that video, can you say then that what we were listening to was accurate?
Yes, it's totally accurate. And she was presenting data which was 6 months old, but now, even after a year, there was another paper out where the similar finding was there. And interesting thing was, like she mentioned, that even the mild symptoms can induce a abnormality in brain functions like dementia, and it turned out that the people who went to the ICU, they had a much higher rate than 30%. In that scenario, I found a statistic that there was those people who went, some people did not go to ICU, another went to ICU and have ventilation and so on. There, the incident is 46%.
Oh, wow.
Is more than 1/3. And so this is real problem. Is going to not only a individual and family problem, but also societal problem because of the cost involved in managing those kind of things. And dementia is dementia, whether it is like in case of Alzheimer's dementia or other forms of dementia, it happens in the later in your life, say after 65 years, the risk increases. But in this case, it is very early events. But the event which causes these things are very similar. And like the neurologist from Stanford said, that it is like similar to the chemo brain. And so you know what happened in what causes the chemo brain, and same thing is that similar cause is here also. So the causative agents are very similar, except the one is case of in a virus-induced changes, in other cases the chemotherapeutic or radiation-induced changes. But the net effects of changes like increase in inflammation, and also whenever there is inflammation, there is loss of oxidative stress that she did not mention. And so these two processes are very much linked. If you have oxidative stress, and the reason you have inflammation marker, and they started going and causing in brain as opposed to peripheral system, microglia, like she indicated in the picture, microglia and astrocytes, they are the immune system of the brain. And so when they get activated, because they enter from the bloodstream that was produced by viruses, and they start killing or activating the microglia cells, then there is almost like a cytokine storms in brain. And so, and when that happens, and of course, you have a lot of free radicals produced, lot of all kind of toxic chemicals are produced during inflammation, process. It is not just the pro-inflammatory cytokines, but other kind of toxic materials. And then they will start killing the cell and also interfering with the communication. And so it has a lot of problem. So the question is that everybody wants to know how to, so if this is the case that inflammation and the oxidative stress is causing the dementia or all kind of different kind of brain abnormalities, what can we do to reduce it?
Yes, I 100% agree. But before you go there, Dr. Prasad, just to kind of be clear, a lot of us did not realize that those components made up what you just referred to as the immune system of the brain, and that the brain's immune system can release harmful toxins like that.
Yes, more, yeah. When they get activated, brain immune cells like microglia cells.
The toxins of the brain's immune system trying to protect itself, that's what in turn starts to do damage like to the axon and other cells. That's what leads to the fog and the memory loss.
Yeah, I mean, they not only causes damage to the axon, which are responsible for communications, but also directly it can kill cells.
Oh, wow.
And so it is not just interfering with the communication, that's why you have a disease, but maybe early part is that your nerve cell is not functioning because they are directly also attacking your cholinergic neuron, which is responsible for storing your memory and learning ability and so on. So neuron, eventually it is neuron. So what is the early phase and neuron is not functioning well, then you have a mild form of dementia. When neurons start dying and more neuron died, then you are getting a real, like Alzheimer type of dementia that you can't even recognize your own family member.
Yeah, that's just mind-boggling, and no pun intended with the expression there, mind-boggling. But to just contemplate what this man was saying to us is beyond sobering. So, and I didn't even catch it the first time that he referred to that as cytokine storm of the brain. Did you hear that? Cytokine storm of the brain. Now,
you know, Jonathan, going back through it again myself, it's just like I'm getting truth bumps, those cold chills that know what we just witnessed. It needed another repeat. I mean, it's just blowing my mind to the significance of what we've got access to here. I just, wow.
I 100% agree with you on that one. There's no question about it. There's something unusual happened this past Sunday, but folks, really pay attention to that one expression that Dr. Prasad made there, cytokine storm of the brain. And that's a big deal. But he, along with that neurologist, both said it was just like chemo brain. So we've got an example of how Dr. Prasad's formula benefited someone with chemo brain. Now ask yourself a question. If this person's story is true, and remember now, results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. But if this person's story is true, what positive impact could it have on any of our mental faculties while we're in a COVID world? Please, Jeff, cue the tape.
Absolutely. So let me just, as Jonathan is setting up the video, we actually played this on Sunday. I called Steve and we talked to him last night to just do a follow-up case with Linda, and he says, "Oh, you guys, I remember very vividly that time when we met Dr. Prasad, and he'll explain it. Linda actually explains it in this testimonial video, but I just had to confirm and verify that everything is still going exactly the way that they want and we want, and so yeah, just a little follow up. So here's wow. Steve and Linda. Yeah.
Hi, we're Steve and Linda Stay, and our story with Engage started probably 4 years ago when a friend told us about this product, and I looked at it and said, yeah, nothing special here. You know, the cost was, we were used to spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on supplements. And so I dismissed it. But Linda, even though we spend that money on supplements, Linda was diagnosed with cancer and breast cancer. And after surgery and extensive chemo treatments, life wasn't going real well for her.
Right. I had survived the cancer, which I kind of wished I hadn't, because now I was dealing with the side effects, and chemo brain is a real thing. If you know people that have gone through chemo, trust me, they're struggling. And what chemo brain does is, number one, you can't really piece thoughts together. You can't function like you used to. I was a very multi-functioning multitasker. And I couldn't do that anymore, couldn't think. And I had unreasonable anxiety and fear that would just come out of nowhere. And I honestly felt like I can't live with this brain. I don't want to be here anymore. And it was hard to, I didn't express that, but Steve picked up on the fact that I was really struggling, and he felt.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd spent literally thousands of dollars a month over the year on supplements, IV nutritional things trying to prevent that. And watching your sweetheart go through that kind of stuff isn't fun. And so I was searching, man, deep in my heart for an answer. And something told me to call my friend Jeff. And I needed to talk to him about what was called MMF then, and microdaily. And I called Jeff and said, I need to talk to you about this. For some reason, I'm feeling that's what Linda needs. And we got together a few weeks later as he made it back into town and
started on the product. And within a week, 10 days, I started to feel a little bit better. And it wasn't too long after that we had the opportunity to meet Dr. Prasad. And I told him what I was struggling with, and he held my hand and promised me that those brain cells could be restored, and that I would get better, and that I would be myself again. And I just started to cry and said, I hope so. I really hope so. And it was at that time that I confided in Steve how desperate I felt. And every week that went by, I felt more of my self coming back. It was like I could feel my brain coming alive again, and I could function again like I used to.
She was back.
I was back, and it's truly been incredible. I'm including energy and aches and pains and all of that type of stuff.
But your brain was functioning like at the level, that incredible level that it always had.
Yeah.
As a caretaker, that's not an easy position to take either. But I noticed with taking it that my sleep was deeper. I was sleeping deeper, and I'd had a hand tremor that had been progressing over the years, something that kind of runs in my family. And Linda noticed about 6-7 weeks into using this product that I'm pouring some tea from a bottle into another container. She says, your hand's not shaking. I'm like, wow, it isn't. The other hand tried it.
It was awesome.
And so we've loved it as we understand the science more. One of the best decisions we ever made was to give it a try.
And again, we figure that we replaced about $300 a month
just multiple
vitamin supplements that we were taking, $300 a month each. So that's a real winner.
It's just fun. Isn't that crazy? And so, as Steve says, we remember it so vividly. Dr. Prasad, just as this little short, just humble man, grabbing a hold of her hand and almost just kind of just bowing down in front of her and saying, it will work. And just the tears are coming. And we almost started crying again last night about the significance of it and how it's changed Linda's life. I also, and I know this is not the place for it, but I feel compelled to talk about this product along with it, because as I was sharing it with Steve last night, I shared just a little portion of Jody Scully's question to Dr. Prasad about why he chose the certain collagen peptides. And he talked about it removing the amyloid plaque on the neurons in the brain. And Steve says, I've never heard of such a thing. And I said, well, let me play this for you. It's actually Dr. Prasad, just in rare form. I mean, he's always that smart. I mean, from his hotel room in Hawaii last month, he's just firing off this information. And so Steve's ordering it after that conversation. Jonathan,
I'm glad you're bringing this in. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. I'm glad you're bringing this in.
Do you want me to play that little portion of Jody's question for Dr. Prasad?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me go to it. So I'm going to just pull it up, and then I'll just fast forward. Here we go.
Hi, Dr. Prasad. How are you? Hi, and Jeff. Well, I have a question about the Collagen Daily that's coming out.
People claim that it causes the Alzheimer's disease, and one of the method of removing the amyloid plaque was, as you know, recently developed an antibody against that protein.
Yes.
And they removed the in animal model, but they didn't do anything good in human. But even collagen peptides, when they are given to animal who has animal model of Alzheimer's disease, the plaque is removed.
Wow.
It's amazing. And they found that, when the brain is stressed, it is present only in neuron, not in glial cell. So when the neuronal stress occurs in neuron, collagen peptide 6 increases to protect it, but it can do only so much protection, and then eventually they die. And this was demonstrated in a cell culture model of neuron, that when put your beta amyloid, they kill the neurons. But when you add a collagen peptides, they totally protected the neuron. So it has extremely neuroprotective agent, not only the joint and the skin hydration and drink, all these, improves,
yes,
but also brain function. I was surprised. So it is another tool in addition to what we have in Micro Daily Brain Boost. Collagen would be not only improving your health overall, joint pain, ligaments, and skin, and I will look like a 60-year-old instead of 87.
That's what we're hoping for. Well, it's amazing, what collagen, reading about it. And I mean, I advise everybody to look at, because it really is amazing how it's going to affect every part of our systems. I love it.
Exactly. An interesting thing is that after the age of 20, the enzyme called collagenase will increase the activity. And when the collagenase activity increases gradually, the collagen gradually goes down. So is the elasticase, the enzyme which degrades elastin, they also start going down.
Right.
So, and as you increase the enzyme, the collagen and elastin goes down, then it still makes it, old looking. So it will have a remarkable impact on human health.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. Well, thank you.
I'm going to just cut it off right there. Remarkable impact on human health. And
neuroprotective agent.
Right there, you guys, the pink canister, neuroprotective agents. And then he went on to say, I got a kick out of this, and I shared it with Steve last night. He started calling this and this the anti-aging agents. Anti-aging agents.
That's right.
So I mean, if anybody takes anything away from our comments tonight, it's just you need to go with what Dr. Prasad recommends. There it is.
You have to.
There it is. Yeah. Goodness.
There's no question about it. And this was not even this was not something that was scripted. Dr. Prasad wasn't sitting there reading from some paper. He wasn't. He's telling us the science that he did. This is pure science that this man has done. I love that fourth bullet down there. Collagen binding with beta amyloids, making them non-toxic.
You can't read it.
Yeah, it's hard to see on our screens there, Jonathan.
But you can't read that.
No,
it's just not clear.
It looks like Chinese hieroglyphics almost. That's even worse. It's just not. It's like all pixelated.
Really?
It's all pixelated. Yeah, for some reason, it's just not.
It's not clear.
No.
They look like they're other language.
Yeah.
No.
Put that screen up if you have it, Jeff.
Hey, so you know what? This is what I'm going to put up. That's just what everybody needs to know. It's right there. It's. Yeah, that's it. As we're coming into the end of the month, we had one of our good friends on the phone today with us, and she says absolutely, I'm getting some collagen, and the lady there in customer service says, well, your auto ship is set to go on the 8th, and she says, well, I want this before the 8th, and then I want to add it to my auto ship, because after she's hearing these kind of things that are going on with the brain, she doesn't want to wait another day. Just give me the collagen. In fact, I know I'm getting one today, and then I'm getting another one in 8 days.
That's phenomenal. That's really good. Well, I'm going to read to you that one portion of it just so everybody knows what it says. Okay? It's 4 bullet points. 1, improve memory by removing beta amyloids, which kill collagenetic neurons responsible for storing memory from the brain. Actually, I'm not going to say anything more than that. That's it right there. It removes that beta amyloid, the exact same thing that the nurse was talking about, exactly what Jeff was just referring to. So you can't get any simpler than that, folks. And it's the cheapest, easiest way to add this product to your diet. We're talking about at $60, that's about $2 a day to protect your brain. I'm in. So let's pause here for a minute. Powerful information there, Jeff. Excellent with the videos. Let's take a real live story. I don't remember if this is the brain story, but Rob is with us, Rob Martin. And a month ago, Rob didn't know anything about MicroDaily. I'm going to say 2 months ago. How long ago was it, Alfreda, that you introduced Rob to MicroDaily?
I know it's over 45 days. So
it has been 45 days. Okay.
Yeah. It's almost 2 months.
Okay. Well, Rob, I heard Rob share his story in a very private group setting. And I think it's just worth it for everybody to hear him share his story. So you don't have to go into all the details. You can give us the condensed version of it if you want, Rob, because from my point of view, it's very emotional. But go ahead, please share your story.
All right. I said, actually, I believe I started feeling these symptoms the early part of this year. And in March, my vision just went, I'm not going to say it went dark, but it shut down like 50%. And if you were 10 yards in front of me, if I didn't know you, I couldn't see the details of your face. That's how bad my vision was. And I pretty much had decent vision all my life, but that wasn't the only issue. I was urinating like every hour on the hour. I had tingling pain going through my lower legs, Charlie horses. I didn't know it at the time, but I believe I had brain fog. I didn't know it because, and I can understand not knowing it because it kind of creeps up on me. And I'll explain that later. So I purchased the packages, and I started taking it around May 15th. And 2 weeks later, I walked into my office and I had a whiteboard. And I asked my daughter, I said, hey, did you guys clean the whiteboard and put the numbers back up? They said, no, we didn't do anything, Dad. And I said, wow, these products are working because I can see the whiteboard clear as day. And I had 4 rows in my office. And I could see everything clearly in the first row, second row, I could see clearly. Went to the third row, it was blurry again. And definitely was blurry in the 4th row. 2 weeks after that, I'm just in my office in the last row. I look around and I could see everything on the whiteboard clear as day. And I was like, that's it. It's the product. It's working. So from that perspective, that's that. But now I mentioned my bladder issue. I was going to the restroom every hour on the hour. Well, now I'm down to every 3 hours. I was sleeping, getting up 5 to 6 times a night to relieve myself. Now it's like 2, possibly 3 times a day, at night, I should say. My energy level, I would simply say it is through the roof. My daughter took pictures of me sleeping in the office. That's how bad my level of energy was. This past Sunday, I walked for over 5 miles. And if you're an athlete, I don't know if you ever experienced the runner's high. I did a few times. I didn't believe it was true before, but this past Sunday, I experienced a walker's high.
Where you couldn't get tired?
Yeah, yes. And I'm experiencing it right now because I worked out today. I put in over 6 miles today. And the energy level is through the roof. I'm not trying to push myself, but these products is phenomenal. I had no intention of doing this business, but after the results that I've received, I'm fired up. I'm gonna blow this thing up. This is the best secret in the health industry, in my humble opinion, in America, period.
I agree with you.
Frida for introducing me to the products. And actually, she's the upline. Brother named Mr. Rainey, he was the one that introduced it to me. So that's my story.
Rob, thank you very much. That's phenomenal. And it's exciting to hear it even again right now. It's like hearing it for the first time.
Okay.
And Jeff, I don't know, Jeff. You know, when you hear people telling stories like this, we've heard it many times before. It's still just as moving, just as touching. So remember, folks, the FDA has not evaluated these comments. Results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. We don't know the clinical circumstances around what happened with Mr. Martin, but you heard his story from his mouth. He can say what happened to him. And by law, he's allowed to say that. So we always have to just tell you, you may or may not get the same results. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Seek their recommendation as to whether or not you should start on any nutritional supplement. But did you notice this? In both cases, both the stories that were presented tonight, these were folks who were athletic. These were folks who were spending all kinds of money on nutritional supplements, and they weren't getting the results that they wanted. We don't know what was going on inside their body, but they weren't getting the results that they wanted. But Dr. Prasad's formula is a different animal altogether. And that's the reason why we're presenting it to you. Dr. Prasad is not just a doctor, he's a scientist. And what he spent decades formulating truly is unique and is different. So that's what we wanted to share with you. We got a question or two in the chat. that that we it would be good if we try to address that, Jeff. This is from Susan Rucker. She says, I'm trying to decide which is best for me. I need the product, and this one has it plus type 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. Please help me. I'll send you the supplement facts if you don't mind via text, and you can share it. So in other words, she's saying that she sees another collagen that has more types of collagen in it, instead of the one here that Dr. Prasad has presented, which is type 1 and type 3. So she's seeing one that's got a full range of all kinds of collagens there. So she wants some help with making a selection. Do you remember how Dr. Prasad responded to that?
I do. And you can go back to the Thursday night, almost 2 weeks ago, when Dr. Prasad was sharing it. And he says 1 and 3 is the most prevalent in the body. And he says you're better off supplying those two and letting the body convert into the amino acids and then into the particular type of collagen, because different collagens go to different areas of the body. And if the body does not recognize it, so say for instance, when he was talking about the amyloid plaque and the collagen able to go in and handle it, that was collagen number 6.
Right.
And so the body is able to take 1 and 3 as the building blocks and then convert to what needs to be. There's actually 29 different ones, but he feels that the body is the better chemistry set. It's the better, pharmacy for itself. And so he's putting in the 2 most prevalent, 1 and 3. And then the other significance is the hyaluronic acid. Mm-hmm. The hyaluronic acid that is in there, and he describes the hyaluronic acid as being the actual lubrication in the cartilage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when somebody's experiencing the bone on bone, just that rubbing, that wearing away to where there's nothing left, he says get the hyaluronic acid, and that's what this has in. And then we also heard him talking about the enzyme inhibitors, just in that little comment that he made to Jody Scully for her question. And those 2 enzyme inhibitors are not in any other collagen product, and that's why this one is patented.
That's right.
And I've been on 6 different collagens in the last 3 years. We have spread our experience around because I heard it was good for me. We wanted to go out and try different ones. Some of them just didn't even. In fact, I was on a call today, and this might be something that Dr. Roberts could come on and share with us. But she had a naturopathic doctor on, and today we heard what she said about the collagen. Do you remember that, Dr. Roberts? Are you in a place where you could come on and share with us Dr. Brookshire's comment on some collagen that has been sent to her and that she was doing? Do you remember? She may not be able to come on, but I'll tell you what, this Dr. Brookshire came on, and I was surprised she threw the name out there, because every one of you would know it's a big deal. Every one of you would know who it was. And she, do you want to share that? Unmute yourself, Dr. Roberts, and you can share what Dr. Brookshire said.
Well, I was so busy over here attempting to eat before we went into our next session. We have our Zoom. Thank you so much, Dr. Jonathan. And I did not blunder, and I put that right there where I mean it to be, for the invitation. And today we had a phenomenal session with Dr. Brookshire and Jeff, and it was just great. And you all need to know that she is my naturopath doctor, and were it not for her, I really don't believe that I would be here today. But because of she and God and I, we are here. We are here. And these super fantastic products. And when I asked her about what supplements I should take, because I was taking about 26 of them, and I said, well,
Wow.
what should I, give up and what should I keep? And she said, give up everything except Micro Daily, girl. That is all you need, to tell you the truth right now. And so when I was in the hospital, it was impossible for me to get the Micro Daily right there because nobody was able to visit or anything. And but she worked with my doctor and got me out of there. And time I got out, she says, overnighting you some Micro Daily, you got to get on it right now. And I sit here and talk today. Oh, somebody just asked the question, what was I in the hospital for? I had pneumonia and both complicated by COVID. And I'm here to tell you it was really, really tough because I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis at the age of 19. And I'm living with what Bernie Mac and many others have died from, that I bear from sarcoidosis. It's not an easy lung disease. I really, really, really thank Dr. Prasad and his team for developing this product and getting it to me. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you very much. That is just an amazing story there. Was that Alfreda?
Oh no, I'm just enjoying it.
That's just amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Picola. See, I have to get it right.
Got it.
Yep, I have to think about it, but I got it. So thank you very much. So listen to these stories. Listen to what's happening to people and their lives is life-changing. So folks, add that to your subscription. If you add it to your subscription now, you get the discount, and you'll have that discount for the rest of the year. So don't wait, because the price is going to go up. So if you want to enjoy that discount, add it to your subscription right now, okay, for this month, and then make sure that you get some more on your early next month. So stock up on this stuff. So what was that, Jeff? Go ahead.
We have one.
We got a question up there, but I just to follow that comment, the rest of the way through to answer the question, nobody else has a collagen like this. And Dr. Picola Roberts came on and talked about the incredible morning that we had with her naturopathic physician, and she same way. She says there is not another product out there like this. And she totally threw another company's product under the bus and then backed over it and then drove forward again. And it's like, that's probably not too good to do.
Today, Jeff, I said, I can't use your video because you killed the company out there who's using tilapia as their collagen. And she says, I just told the truth. I said, that's why you keep getting in jail. They put you in YouTube jail for that stuff, But yes, she absolutely believed she's done her. She is an educational guru when it comes to health products, and she absolutely loved this product. She's already ordered it. But the thing that she loves most is Dr. Prasad and how he does the scientific study for all of the product. He is a man of integrity, and she loves that about him. I love him.
You can't pay Dr. Prasad to say something that's not scientifically true. And you just can't do it. He won't say it. If he doesn't believe it and it's not proven scientifically, it won't come out of his mouth and he won't put his name on it. But he's 100% a man of integrity. So we're very, very, very fortunate to have someone like him to be able to draw on. Thank you again, Dr. Picola, for kicking that in for us. All right, so now we have another question that came up here before we wrap up our discussion. Please go ahead, Sita.
Hi. Yes, I have a question. Did I hear it right that Dr. Prasad's collagen is type 1 and type 3?
That's correct. Type 1 and type 3.
Okay. My question also is, there's so many, I have, in some stores, collagen is really around. There's so many
Yes, it
stores
is.
that carry it, right? So how is Dr. Prasad's collagen different from them? Because I heard from you that it is treating our neurons, because the collagen that I see around do not even mention about how it treats neuron, taking out the amyloids.
Mhm.
I haven't seen that. And now you mentioned that collagen of Dr. Prasad is helping to take away all those amyloid, so that we don't lose our memory. It will help our brain function well. So from where is the collagen of Dr. Prasad derived from?
Very good question. Let's bring Jeff back on here and let him comment on
here.
that.
It is. It
There's
is
a video that we're going to send to you, Sita. There's a video that you need to see. The entire discussion with Dr. Prasad broke down almost every component of how he came up with this product. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it's
I'm
both.
sorry. I was not able to watch. I forgot the date of the first
We're going
session.
to send you the
that Dr.
recording. We're going to
Prasad-
send you the recording.
Yeah, we'll send you. So it's bovine collagen. So it's from beef, and it is grass-fed, organic. It's all of the things that you can do. And Dr. Prasad tried the fish derived. He tried the plant derived. He tried the all of the collagens that are out there. It took him over a year of research and development to really come up with this particular formula. And then it took David Nemelka quite a few months after that to find the right manufacturer. And so it's unlike anything else that's out there on the market, and that's why he's already filed the protective patents for it. There are other collagens out there that will have hyaluronic acid. I mean, it's given, and you'll see this in the presentation, but there is nothing on the market that uses enzyme inhibitors. And that is the first. This is Dr. Prasad. It took over a year to bring it to market. And in fact, I'll give you a little bit of background. When this company ran the first batch, Dr. Prasad insists that it be third-party tested. It be tested by a company not associated with the manufacturer. It went out, and during that test, it failed Dr. Prasad's recipe. That CQF that is on the back of the bottle, that combination, quantity, and form, it didn't pass. And so the manufacturer had to eat the entire first batch because Dr. Prasad is that precise at what it is. So you can be confident in it. We are consuming it twice a day. And so Helen and I have ordered, she gets 2 of these and I get 2 of these every month because I don't want to be without it. And she's already noticing that it's just, she says it's not like brain fog is gone. Like Rob was talking about, she says it's just, this is Helen. She says it's just easier to think. She doesn't have to struggle to pull something forward. It just flows out of her mind. She doesn't have to think about it, if that makes sense. And so we're seeing it already in about 2 weeks worth of use. Amazing. But Dr. Prasad says you have to have the MicroDaily on board as well. So MicroDaily plus this, it's back to what I had on the screen here earlier, the premium bundle right there. You get free shipping. It's $166. That is what Dr. Prasad recommends.
Mm-hmm. So what are the other ingredients with Dr. Prasad's collagen?
Pretty amazing. I had never heard of them being used for this, but the other components are it is it's called ALMA, amla fruit. It's an amla fruit extract and a white tea that has been decaffeinated, and then hyaluronic acid. So your bovine collagen peptides, amla fruit extract, white tea, and hyaluronic acid. And then look at the amino acid profile. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there. It's kind of hard, but anyway, it's like I said, I've tried 6 other ones, and some prominent companies, even some network marketing companies. So it's because some people are always sending me stuff, and nothing is comparing to this. So anyway, Jonathan, we're about ready to run out of time here.
Okay.
You want to?
So are you gonna send me the video, the one that I missed?
Yeah,
Are
Jonathan.
you able to? Can you access the chat right now, Sita?
Access the what?
The chat on Zoom.
The chat on Zoom.
Yeah, down the bottom of the page, it's going to have a little bubble that says chat. Right? If you click on that chat, it's right next to participants.
Participants. Okay.
It's down at the bottom, and you have a little chat box. Just click on that, and it'll pull it up, and you'll see it there. Jonathan has included that link. It's there for everybody.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I have the share content, participants, more, leave.
Click on more.
Click on more.
Okay, let me try. Okay, it says meeting settings, chat. Now I saw the chat there now.
Click on chat.
So click on it.
Click on chat.
And it'll come up over your screen, but you'll see there, it'll say JJ for Jonathan Jones to everybody. Here is the launch video with the Dr. Prasad covered the details. You can just click on that. It's a live link. It'll take that. It'll open another browser on your computer. So
okay.
Click on it right now before we shut the video, the Zoom.
So which one should I click? Jonathan Jones, Herbie Rainey, or Susan Rucker?
Jonathan Jones.
Jonathan Jones.
You'll see it. It's in blue. Right. Yeah.
Oh, the video? Okay. The HTTP ITL. Correct. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. Click on it.
Hey, Jonathan, I'm gonna have to run here pretty quick myself. We've got another presentation. So
I think we've wrapped up right now, Jeff. And thank you very much for your support, Jeff. Absolutely. We can't express that. You get on to your other presentation.
Just a couple of days left. Take advantage, you guys, of June and getting this so that it's ready to go. July is the Freedom Month. It's the month that we're celebrating freedom. Imagine being free from amyloid plaque. Imagine being, I'm so encouraged with Rob's passion about going out there and sharing this with others. We'll have to do this again and talk nothing but just the business, because what Rob shared with us tonight, there is nothing else out there that can even come close.
That's right.
To this, because we have Dr. Prasad, we have the patents that protect it. We have the results that are happening. Get more coming so that you can start sharing it. These last 2 days are significant to everybody because we're still under the triple bonus. Take advantage of that, and let's do this again, Jonathan. Love it. Love
Absolutely.
The format.
Very good. Thank you again, Jeff. And listen, folks, don't sleep on this. If you've got folks that need to hear this information, you can find this the entire video, including this video right here from tonight. You can find it all on my YouTube channel. Can I kick out the channel on there? YouTubeJonathan.com. Just put that into your URL, YouTubeJonathan.com. Share the report.
Exactly. Just always remember to get back with the person who invited you onto this call, because they are there as a support system. And just like we had Dr. Roberts on here tonight, she's supporting Jonathan. Jonathan's supporting her, and so we're all here to.
We're all partners. It doesn't matter.
Micro Daily family.
Yeah, we share resources. So don't worry about any of those things, and don't worry about any of this cross-line foolishness. None of that's going to be a problem here. But all our resources is available to anyone. Okay, so take advantage of it. All right, we're here to support you guys. Okay, so for between now and Thursday, for anybody in my group or my team, you need some help, reach out. Reach out and we'll help you to introduce the product and the business to anybody. Our next formal meeting is going to be Sunday at 5 o'clock, unless something happened between now and Thursday. Okay, well, that's what our target is at this point. Okay, thank you guys very, very much again. And keep in mind, remember, this presentation is for education and information purposes only. Don't do anything that I say because I say do it. Talk to your primary healthcare physician, talk to your doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. Don't claim to be one. I'm just a researcher. Okay, you guys have a good night. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Thank you very much, Jonathan and Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. Bring more.
Rock and roll, guys.
That's it. We got 2 more days. Finish strong. Do not stop. Keep going. Tell more people.
Okay.